Hello, good morning, and welcome back to Outsiders. I'm James Morrow here, as always, with the Palatine Rita Panahi and the Rabelaisian Rowan Dean. And this morning, I thought we might play a little game, a game of hypotheticals. Now, imagine, if you will, a prominent male politician running for high office who is credibly accused of sexually assaulting one of his female staffers in the past. Now, on hearing this news, is your first reaction A, believe all women? B, I think we should definitely find out more about this to see if it's credible, or is it C, hang on, are we talking about Joe Biden? Because if so, I don't want to hear about it. Now, if you answered C, then you too may have a promising career ahead of you in the Democratic Party. Because in case you haven't heard, and I wouldn't blame you, there's been a bit of a media blackout on the whole subject, especially here in Australia, but the news is that Joe Biden, Democrat candidate for president, stands credibly accused by a former aide, Tara Reade, of sexually assaulting her in his office back in 1993, which indeed by his own standards means that Joe Biden is guilty, given his previous statements that, quote, for a woman to come forward in the glaring lights of focus nationally, you've got to start off with the presumption that at least the essence of what she's talking about is real. But it won't surprise you that he's not getting anywhere near the sort of treatment from the left that, say, Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh received when faced with far more ludicrous and improbable allegations, many of which were later withdrawn. Here, have a listen to Nancy Pelosi, who has come up with a novel defense for Joe Biden. Have a listen to this.
The fact that Joe Biden is Joe Biden, there's been statements from his campaign, or not his campaign, but his former employees who ran his offices and the rest, that there was never any record of this. There was never any record. And that nobody ever came forward, or nobody ever came forward to say something about it apart from the principal involved.
Joe Biden is Joe Biden. And remember that thing she said about the records, because that's important in all of this. Because that's the same Nancy Pelosi who, when Brett Kavanaugh won his Supreme Court seat, still believed all women, and she called it at the time a profoundly heartbreaking day for women, girls, and families across America, adding that courageous women risked their safety and well-being to speak the truth about the nomination. But never mind, as she said, Joe Biden is Joe Biden. And, in fact, the fact that he even is may need reminding of that from time to time. But also note that Pelosi and the rest of the Biden cheer squad have been contradicted by increasing evidence corroborating Tara Reade's story. Audio emerged last week of a woman believed to be Reade's mother calling into an American talk show in 1993, alleging that her daughter had been assaulted by an unnamed senator. Other witnesses have come forward saying they recall Reade telling her story after it happened. And an attempt by Biden's campaign to end the matter by authorizing a search of the National Archives came a cropper when on the MSNBC, of all places, host Mika Brzezinski pressed Biden on the fact that his senatorial papers are actually not in the National Archives, but held at the University of Delaware, which makes it look like he might have something to hide. Have a look at this questioning.
The point I'm trying to make is that you are approving and actually calling for a search of the National Archives records of anything pertaining to Tara Reade. I'm asking why not do the same in the University of Delaware records, which have raised questions because they were supposed to be revealed to the public and then they were sealed for a longer period of time. Why not do it for both sets of records?
Because the material in the University of Delaware has no personnel files, and but it does have a lot of confidential conversations that I had with the president about a particular issue, that I had with the heads of state of other places.
I'm just talking about her name, not anybody else in those records. A search for that. Nothing classified with the president or anybody else. I'm just asking, why not do a search for Tara Reade's name in the University of Delaware records?
Look, I mean, who does that search?
All this leaves the Democrats with a knotty problem. They have a candidate who stands credibly accused of sexual assault and who appears to be attempting to stonewall the investigation. Someone whose numbers show not just a huge enthusiasm gap among likely voters, but also a huge cash advantage for the Trump campaign, and whose bizarre basement broadcasts have increasing numbers of Americans speculating about his possible cognitive decline. Now, we have 7 months to go to the election. Donald Trump, despite massive headwinds, has achieved a massive 49% approval rating in the Gallup poll, a new high. I'm finding it harder and harder to imagine the Democrats sticking with Biden all the way to November rather than playing with the rules to swap someone else more electable in. And for over a year now on this program, I have been saying that throughout the entire mess of the Democratic nomination process, Hillary Clinton has been sitting on the sidelines looking for the opportunity to avenge her loss in 2016. And lo and behold, have a look at this article from Capitol Hill trade paper The Hill, just published, which suggests that Biden could choose Clinton as his running mate and then step down before the election and allow Hillary to run in his place. I don't know that stories like this don't appear without a reason. And the fact is, in this very strange 2020, can we rule anything out?